Good evening, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Rashmita, and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru. Today, we are back with another episode from Learn at Reactor with our very own host, Vivek Sridhar. But before I hand over the floor to him to start the session, I would request you all to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. With this, I would now like to hand over the floor to Vivek. Thank you and enjoy your session.
Hello. Just for all the online audience, we have audience sitting here at the reactor as well. You can say hi to people if you want to. Okay, perfect. So today session will be on Azure Functions. Last week um, in Azure Happy Hour, we spent time in understanding it. I did the demo, I did everything, and this week we are, we want you to do it, right? So that's the plan. So go ahead and we'll try it out. You can try it out. You can spend 3 hours from now on. You want to spend 4 hours, spend 4 hours, and build something out of it. We can do everything, right? You can spend all the time here. And for online audience as well, it's up to you to how much ever time you want to spend, because you're online, you're at home, you can obviously spend 5 more hours as well, and in between you can have lunch and then also continue to work on the Azure functions there, right? So those things you can do. So before we get started, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Vivek, and as you can see, I started my career at IBM as a software developer almost like 16 years back, and moved into different roles, and I enjoyed DevOps. So I moved into DevOps roles in a couple of uh, places. One was in service industry, again one was in startup industry, and I was co-founder and architect as well for one of the company. And then again, being part of communities and other things. So being in the senior developer advocate, moved into Microsoft in strategy and investment role. This is my second role at Microsoft. Moved back to engineering as well. So now I'm senior cloud advocate in cloud and AI engineering team. So that's me. And if you want to get connected, these are my digital coordinates. So you can uh, just get connected as well. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me after the session as well. Okay. So I just want to talk about the history. I'm going to quickly run through a couple of slides, because there are first timers who are sitting here trying to understand what is this serverless is all about, why we are even discussing serverless. Some of you are young people. I'm 16 years old. I started my career 16 years back, and you can see, right, it was way before digital transformation happened. I usually tell this to all the young people that I used to work on-premises servers. We used to have these kind of rooms where all servers were sitting, and it was all cold room. We were wearing jackets and sitting in those rooms and directly accessing those servers and working directly on those servers, right? So so we were doing that. So that is the on-premises era, right? There was machines there, but to access these machines I had to come into a room like this with an access, and then access those machines, install stuff on the machines. Installation was on CD, right? And this was all written on CDs. We used to put insert CDs and install stuff on that, and then use the product, build the product, test the product, and all those things. Then came the era of infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service doesn't mean always have to be on cloud. It can be on prem as well. There, the servers were still there, but I was able to access it within the network. Right? It's still infrastructure as a service because I was able to access it via internet, and I was able to access the machines via internet. Right. So era was also boomed, and the reason this boom came in, the digital transformation took place where um, cloud came into picture, where you could access servers via network, right? So that's the infrastructure as a service. So with security, you're able to access the infrastructures in the which is hosted on the data centers and through internet, right? And then the PaaS came into picture. It is to manage your servers. Um, Not just servers, basically, you manage the complete software as well. Like, for example, database. It's very difficult to manage when you manage it without a pass, right? Imagine MySQL server, you have master, slave, big machines, like you have 10 slaves or 8 slaves and your bunch of data. It's very difficult to manage as a person, like individual installations. It is better to use something called as pass, which will do the patching, which will do the replications, which will make sure that all the things which are required for MySQL to run, it is providing you as a service, right? So that those are the things which came in as part of the pass layer, but still there were challenges. And then apps, building your apps made easy through serverless. So when I said serverless, it means you're only focusing on the code, and rest everything is taken care by the cloud provider. um, when I say rest everything, it is maintainability, accessibility, availability, and all those important things like performance, and everything is managed by the cloud provider. You're only focused on writing the code, and we will see how exactly that is done as well. So these are some of the examples. Before cloud, what were the questions people were answering, right? So basically, which size of the server I need to procure, what is, network connections, power management in the building, all of these things were issues. And even the procurement, because basically if we had to add a new machine, we need to go and procure it. It used to take months to procure it, right? So this was the process. Like I need machines, I need to apply for that machine, and there is a process, finance team approval and other things, and then it goes through a lot of process to get to this, right? So that is one more thing. And then came the era of infrastructure service, which we talked about, which obviously you can see there is less number of questions in the slide, right? But it's still there is questions, and still a couple of things like your backing up of your server, or how do you scale your applications, or monitoring your applications, and all of these things are still is a question mark there. And then digital transformation happened. There's a pass layer which is there. Couple of things pass layer can manage, but still scaling your applications, still how to increase the utilization of your server, better utilization of your servers, there also been a problem, right? Because again, your app service is still running, and you're still paying for it. It's basically it's waste of effort, right? If nobody is using your application at certain points, right? So that is the reason why this came into picture, which is serverless, which is basically you're focusing only on building application, and serverless is the way to go forward, right? It is basically managing your code, and it is making sure that your code is available, it is maintained, it is having performance, it can be replicated, and all those things. So as I told you, it is basically abstraction of the servers. So when I say serverless, it doesn't mean there is no servers in the backend. There are servers in the backend. It's just that as a developer, it is abstracted to you, so you don't need it anymore. And it's obviously driven through events. So there is event which is happening, and then it triggers a service. Say for example, you would have used UPI, right? Everywhere you go now, you use your UPI payments, right? So it's an event. So basically you go and scan the QR code, and there's an event which is it is triggering. And when you trigger that event, what happens is something gets triggered, like either the payments will page will open and it will show you the how to make the payments, or probably it will send you an OTP, right? All of these things are driven through events. So that's where serverless is a very good option to use. And obviously you're paying for the use. So that is one of the major thing which I just wanted to share. And benefits are a bunch of benefits. That is focus. You have focus in building applications, so you are only focused on the business logic, which is the most important thing about your business, right? You're not really worried about managing it, managing the code, scaling it, maintaining it, and thinking about its availability and all those things. Your focus is to build application. Your focus is to make sure your business logic runs properly. So that is where you're going to focus on. And again, efficiency, right? It's more important from efficient perspective. That means whatever technology you're using, you should have the right set of tools, where you can build it locally, test it locally, and deploy it to cloud it easily. And there is efficient way of management of it. And obviously, cost management there, right? That is also part of the efficiency. And then flexibility. For example, you have a team, and you have certain problems to solve, and one problem requires you to have a knowledge on Python. The other problem is best suited to be solved via Java, right? Today, if you are building a monolithic application, you cannot combine Java and Python, right? But if you are building a microservice application where you're breaking these problems into two different set of problems, you can go ahead and use different programming languages, right? So that flexibility is what serverless gives you as well. So when you're building microservice applications, there are different microservices which is running, and this particular functionality, or this particular service, which is the functions, Azure Functions, gives you the flexibility to develop the code in different programming languages, and use it in the development, right? So these are some of the benefits. So as I told you, it has to be a single responsibility. So right, your developers, you would have seen when you are developing something, every time, like even if you're starting with C programming or C++, it's all about function you write, right? When you write a function, what does it do? It solves one single problem. Usually we define function to solve certain problem. So that's what it is. So that's what functions as a service is all about. And it is obviously short lived, so it's basically not long running events. So it is basically it creates one event and gets back to the state. So it's basically, UPI transfer is an event. Send me an OTP. When you do a credit card in a billing, you go there, you put your credit card, it sends you an OTP. So that sending OTP is one event, right? So it's a short-lived. It's not long running. Like OTP service at the backend will not keep running, and it will send you the OTP after 2 hours or 3 hours. It is short-lived events. And then it's stateless. You can also build stateful based on the durable functions. If you want to try durable functions today here, you can try it. It's pretty interesting. You can try, having multiple functions solving the problem for you, saving the state, and then solving the problem for you. And there are different methodologies as well that we can take a look at it. But then obviously event driven and scalable, we have already talked about it. So Azure Functions, till now we talked about concept, the serverless, right? But now what I'm introducing you is Azure Functions. So when I talk about Azure Functions, it's basically um, it's basically a programming model. It's the way you program your application, right? So when you go and create a function in Azure Functions, you can create it in different programming languages, and it could be a Python, it could be Java, it could be Node.js, and it creates a structure for you according to the programming language you choose. When I say according to the programming language, for example, you use a Python programming choice. Say I want to create a function in a Python. When you do that, what happens is it creates a structure for you with requirement.txt and all the things which is required for it. And when you go and create Node.js, what should it create? Anyone who's Node.js developer? Package.json, right? It create a package.json where you can go and add the npm packages which is required for the development. So basically that's the structure it gives you. And obviously local debugging, multiple debugging options, managing through monitoring, logging everything locally, you can also do it. And obviously hosting options, which I don't want to, it's basically how do you host it, different ways of hosting the application. So there is there is simple I just want to put this in words, like you will be focusing on code and not plumbing. So these are things which we are going to do when you use functions. So you're not going to manage the infrastructure. It's always about auto scaling, and then you'll not waste resources. You'll only pay for the what you use. So this is the structure. So there is a trigger for everything, right? The event trigger, events gets triggered, right? So when you trigger an event, what happens is there are input and output binding. So when I say input and output binding, when you trigger an event, there is obviously it has to have some kind of information, right? When you say, okay, uh, send the OTP to this particular user, it has to have an input binding from some kind of database to figure out this person is valid to send OTP or not, right? So there is an input binding. There is output binding, that is means it is sending that to notification service, right? So that notification service can send it. So this is an output binding. So there are a couple of things. There is triggering object, your code, and other things. So we can, that's basically the flow. And we will see. You can use different triggers as well today. In while you are doing it, you can use different triggers as well. I'll just show you. So let's focus on code right now, and I'll talk about a little bit of use cases later, but I'll show you how this particular structure is. I'll go through, within 5 minutes, I'll show you a demo, a small demo, so that we can go back and build on our own, and everybody can build here their own function and deploy their own function to the cloud today. Okay, cool. So let me go. So what I have done is I already have Azure extension installed on my VS Code. I already have function tools installed. Okay, so there is something called as function tools, and I have already installed it. Okay, and basically there are a couple of things which is here. There is workspace local, there's workspace other places. So I'm going to go and create a function. So if you see here, there is create function. It is very small, you can see here. When I click on this plus button, you can basically see there is one small create function or create http function. So let me create a http function. So when I do that, so it shows which language you want to choose. So I'm choosing Python, and that's what I used lately. So I'm going to choose 3.9, which I have. Okay, key S001. So enter a name. So, but there is someone. So there is, I just selected the Python, and which language I want to get it started. So it is just creating it. Okay. So now I have the code with me. So you can see the code. This is a default code which we get. Okay, you can make changes to this code and start using this by default, or you can create your own different code and use it. So this is a simple structure, simple code, and I just want to show you how exactly this code can go into the cloud. So basically now it's on local. It's created on local. If you go to terminal and see, it's created one API. This is the structure it has. Okay. You can see the structure there. It's there, and you can see here, it is giving you requirement dot txt because I created Python. If you try, Node.js, there will be package.json and other things which is required for Node.js. If you create .NET, it will be different. It will create Java, the structure is source and other things. So all these things are different. Okay, so this is what it creates, and okay, now what I will do is basically deploy this. So there is no function app in my Azure portal. Okay, so there is no function app, so I cannot deploy this code, right? So I'll just go and create a function app. So when I say create a function app, it will ask me for a global name. So I'll just give this there. Okay, give a name. So, and it will ask me for the stack which I want to run this. So I'm going to choose 3.9, which I'm using locally as well. So I'm going to use Central US. So it is creating the app in the cloud. So locally I was using, and then it is in the cloud. So I'm going to show you both the ways, but I want you to try this on locally how to run this. I'll show you that one as well. So while you're in local, you can go and do the debugging and go and run the debugger, and it will run the debugging system there. It is running from the debugging, and you can see it is running through Azure Function core tools which I have installed, and the app is actually running locally. I doubt it is running because of the port issues. It could be. Let's test it out. Okay. So it is working fine. Hello, Vivek. It's there, right? This is local. If you see this, this is local host. I can't zoom it, uh, but it is local host. Okay, cool. And if I have to show you what's happening in the debug, is it deployed? Where does it go? Okay, this is still getting deployed. Okay, the to the cloud. So I have local running code, and I will disconnect that code so that I want to stop that code. And then once this gets deployed, even this will give you a URL, and you can just go back and see and use it as well. So if you see here, it is successfully deployed app in the cloud, and you can see this is the URL. Let me take the URL from the, it will take some time for that to come up. So okay, there is function. You can see that what I'm doing is I'm just accessing. So all these things are already installed for me. You can do it via CLI as well. Okay, and in whatever I'm going to share you from now on, you will get a sandbox as well where you can go and play around. So let's wait for function. There's nothing on the function, right? Because we haven't, what we have not done, we have not pushed the code. What we did was in Azure, we created the function app, but code is not pushed, so nothing will run there, right? So we did run it in the local. We saw how it runs in the local, but we didn't push it to the cloud. So all we need to do is go here and push it and say deploy to the function to the cloud. There is one small button there. You can see there's one small blue color button. So when I do that, it will ask me which one you need to push. So I'm going to push it to the one which I created, which is wiki 003, and it will ask me yes. It will all remove the, if there is a code, it will remove that code. But yeah, that's fine for me, right? So it is getting deployed. So whenever I change this code, I'll just deploy it to the function which I want to deploy to the function. So it is getting deployed there. So it will deploy, and similarly, I can use the URL and other things, and we can obviously see what is the thing. So let's go here, see the output. So, people who have joined online, if you have any questions, keep posting it in the chat. Uh, I will respond to it. Okay, it got deployed now. You can see there is a message which says it is deployed. Uh, where can I find the link? Okay, here is the link. So this is what we deployed. It's a simple API. You can complicate it as well. Last time we did a Twitter API, right? We posted tweets from here, and we built that code through functions. So you can also do whatever you want today. You can try a lot of things. So that is, so this is on cloud now, right? This link is on cloud, and I'm showing you how to deploy this. So hopefully it will show up. Okay, you can see, right? Basically, it's there. Oh, okay, so this is running from the cloud perspective. So now we have something running locally and on cloud. Now that's the flexibility. What I did was very simple. I went there. I said I'm going to create a function locally. I created a function locally, and once I created the function locally, what happened is the function is created, and people are, you can just go and see the code, and you can make changes to the code. You can add new things. Like last time we did Twitter code, we did add the Twitter directly tweeting from here. We added that, and then we just executed this, and that's it. So it's there, right? So it's a way to run it locally as well. You can test this locally. You can test this on the cloud as well. So that's the flexibility we get. So I'll go back to my presentation, because I just want to spend some time on the couple of use cases which you can build with functions. I've already done this before in the last Azure Happier as well, and this is basically an online order building, right? So there is something which you are building online order, and you have a service bus. So this is a service bus trigger. There are a bunch of triggers which is there. There is HTTP trigger, there's service bus trigger, there's Cosmos DB trigger, because there are different ways you can trigger. There's blob storage trigger, there's a storage, and if you put something in the storage, you can trigger a function. And if you you send a message into a service bus, you can create a you can basically create a function, right? You can execute a function. So then there is mobile backend service. This is an interesting one. You go, bunch of friends go out, you three who are here, you go out and you share stuff, right? And then you paid for it, and you want to request both of them to send money. You want to send notification to them. That's where you're going to use functions. And if you see here, there is Cosmos DB trigger, and in between there is a Cosmos DB trigger, right? So that's the way to build it, and how you can build bunch of things. So this is an IoT example where you can build, you can use IoT hub triggers and other things to trigger a couple of functions, and use logic apps and other things, and bot services, and real-time processing of a PDF. You are doing some kind of health related stuff, streaming to build dashboards, uh, scheduling tasks and other things, a lot of other stuff. So what we are going to do today is, this is where the learn modules are. There are a couple of learn modules in this link. If you go to this link now, you can basically access two to three learn modules. Okay, so I'll keep this open. Okay, no worries. This will be on the screen, so you can keep go to this link now, and there are modules for you to learn. Okay, there are one module is introduction to Azure Functions. So whatever I did now, there's a bunch of things available out there. So you can go through that, finish that learn module, and there is the second learn module, which is serverless logic with Azure Functions. You can basically build your function, and there is a sandbox and other things. Probably just take a look at it and basically build that out. Okay, so you need internet, right? You have you have internet. You got it. Okay, perfect. So people who are online, the same thing. You have this link up, and there are learn modules which is there, and please make sure to use that learn module. Okay, and any questions you have, let me know, and I'll come to your place. And people who are online, if you have questions, keep posting it in the chat, and I'm going to spend some time on the chat as well and answer your questions there as well. Okay. Okay, there's a question in the chat that how, if I have deployed a function in the other provider, how well it is compatible with the Azure function. So it's about the code, basically how you structure the code, and if the code is structured, there will be some kind of changes you need to make in the code, obviously, because of the different in structures each providers provide, and obviously, like environment variables, the requirement.php, it's all, these are all common things when you're building a function. It will be the common stuff, but there could be some changes. Like last time when I was building the Twitter, when we were building Twitter APIs, I did use something called as Python's decouple module, which is to keep my um, Twitter access secret, right? It should not be shown in the code, right? It should be secret, right? And I wanted to make sure it is in the environment variables. It's not something which is accessible or where people can see it. So it was in the behind the scenes, right? So for that, if you're looking at converting that into from a different provider to Azure, probably you'll have to build again the environment variable file, right? So all of these things, changes have to be made, but this is minimal. That's what as far as I can tell you. Is there any other question? Okay, let's get started. So this is the learn module, and go back and join the challenge. It's a cloud scaling challenge basically. So you can complete this. You have 6 days to complete the all three modules. That's the challenge basically. So nobody is winning it. Okay. The good thing about what I feel about cloud scale challenge is, you challenge yourselves to learn something new, and this is the learn modules I'm going to learn, is what cloud skill challenge is all about, right? So just go and execute all the three modules, but I would suggest you to complete the first module and the second module today, and you can really complete it, because if you see the time to complete these two modules, it is just 40 minutes, right? So you can complete this up. We do have a lot of time. You can take that up and complete it. And people who are online, you also start doing it. If you have questions, post it in the chat, and I'm happy to help you out. So I'll be there, I'll be coming, and we will work together. Okay. Okay, put it on. Put it on the screen. Okay, so there is a question whether there are pre-built recipes and pre-built code where you can use it in a CI/CD pipelining perspective. CI/CD pipelining is, people who are new, it is basically build and deploy it, the code to the cloud or anywhere. So basically, yes, you can do that. There is something called as code samples. If you go to Microsoft Learn or learn.microsoft.com, there would be an option to access the code samples. I will try and post it in the chat just after 5 minutes, after 10 to 5 minutes from now. So you can access the code samples. The code samples itself is on functions, Azure Functions. So you can pick that up, you can build it, you can deploy it. But this learn modules also have code in it, so you can also play around with the code there as well. Okay, with different triggers. Actually, the learn modules also, I have added one of the learn module to play around with different triggers. You can also build custom triggers as well, so there is an option to do that. Okay, got it. These are questions which are coming in from the online audience, so I'm answering that here as well. Okay, so people who are online, do let us know if you have completed the modules, if you have built your first Azure Function app. I can see here a couple of them have completed who are here. They did deploy their first app, and they've gone to the next level, like building APIs, doing some nice different things on that. So which is good. So yeah, Tariq, you are, yes, completed. Cool. Nice to see Tariq here, and he has completed, I believe. Tariq is online. He's joining us from different place. Perfect. So I'll, I'll be closing online uh, session in next 10 minutes. And people who are online, if you have questions, please share. People who are here in person, you can continue to work on it. You can continue to build on top of this. Whatever you have learned now, whatever you have built now, you can continue to do it for an hour or so, and I'll be here and we'll be discussing as well. So let's wait for 10 more minutes and see if there are any questions from the online audience, and try and see how things are for people who have joined us virtually. So what was the issue? Sandbox issue? Okay. So you need to review the permission. Yeah. Okay. People who are online, if you're stuck with the sandbox issue, there is a review button. So just click on the review button. Yes, the recording of this is available on YouTube. So there is a question from the online audience that whether this will be on YouTube. This is available on YouTube. You can go to the our Reactor YouTube channel and access Learn Reactor, and you will be able to access this particular video as well. And if you are joining from anywhere, and if you have not gone through the first part of the session, the learn module is there. The link is there. You can go through the link. You can finish all the three learn modules, and when you finish the three learn modules, is just the same thing which we did in the session as well, right? So nothing different. Yeah. Okay, so there is one more trick. If you are not getting the sandbox, just go to the incognito mode and try it out, and you'll be able to access it. What are the thing? What are the trick? Outlook account. Yeah, that's what I was telling. Some people here use your Outlook. Huh. Perfect. Cool. So basically, we're going to close the session here. And is there any questions coming in? The LinkedIn. And by the way, we have LinkedIn group as well, and most of these sessions will be posted there as well. So if you not just about the session, but also different things which we are doing at the reactor and other things. So you can join the LinkedIn group as well. So you can just find it by just searching for Microsoft Reactor India, and you can join the LinkedIn group. Okay, it's specifically India group. So if you're part of India, then you can join it. Cool. Okay. Thank you, people who have joined us online. Thank you very much for helping us run it as a hybrid mode. I know it is challenging. You're joining from somewhere, and we are here. Uh, you know, we try to split our attention between the in-person attendees and the virtual attendees. Thank you for joining in, and if you have any questions, do reach out to me on my LinkedIn or on my Twitter, and I will be able to answer to those questions as well. Let's catch up next. There are a couple of events lined up. Do check out the meetup.com page, Reactor page, Reactor Bengaluru page, or you can also go to the Reactor Microsoft website as well. We have our own website where you can find all our events there as well. Okay, until then, see you all. Thank you very much for joining in, and take care.